listening to Middle East expert and keynote speaker Neil Lazarus, live from Jerusalem.
Hi, this is Neil Lazarus here, and this is another podcast. I'm on the way actually to a seminar. I'm about to teach a group of 10 people, executives, on public speaking. But I arrived early, so I thought I would give you another podcast. I just add that because if you hear the sound of cars in the background, I'm not in my normal recording position. Anyway, this is the day after Las Vegas, the day after America sees yet another tragedy, the day after more innocent people lose their lives, and carnage is spread across the headlines of every newspaper and every television and every form of social media. So I'm going to say it. What's the elephant in the room? The elephant in the room is gun control. And every time this happens, we get back into this issue of, well, we have the right to have arms, we should fire, we should be able to protect ourselves, it's constitutional, etc. And you know what? I'm willing to confess that maybe, as someone who's not American, I don't get it. Because I really don't get it. I don't understand how we continue to justify the amount of weapons which are available and easily available. And yes, I know that automatic machine guns aren't legal in America, etc. But something's got to change. In the last 2 years, there's been 20 massacres. And everyone is that this is the worst one in American history. But something's got to happen. Something's got to change. We can do, as Obama once said, we can do better than this. The question is what? Because I have a feeling that yet again we will have the investigation, fingers will be blamed. And if you have a look at even some of my social media feeds on Twitter and Facebook, people say it's not the guns, it's the anger, it's the division, well, it seems to be everything, but at the end of the day, it's the bullet that kills. Maybe we need to, perhaps, just perhaps, reconsider some of the ways we talk about gun control. Maybe it's not a blanket ban. I think that would be impossible. But something has to be done. I'm going to be on the road soon after the holidays. I'm going to be visiting the United States, going to be also in Canada and also in Britain. I've also got a number of webcasts already booked up. Such fun. I have to tell you, I just did one recently with Dallas. 100 odd people on one side of my computer. I was in Israel, and it's like just being there in the room. Crazy, crazy stuff. It's amazing what you can do now through the internet and through technology. The other major news story, I think, that is taking place and is emerging, which perhaps was not given as much attention as it should be, but if you're listening to this podcast, I know you're interested in Middle East politics, is the moves towards reconciliation between Hamas and Fatah. Remember, yesterday we had a delegation of the Palestinian Authority headed by Fatah going to Gaza and meeting with Hamas. This is very, very important. I remind you that Hamas and Fatah have been divided effectively for a decade now, as far as Hamas taking control of the Gaza Strip, near enough a civil war taking place there. There was something like 300 Palestinians were killed, many thrown off buildings by Hamas when it took control of the Gaza Strip. Hamas is saying that it would be willing to hand over civil control to the Palestinian Authority of Gaza. The question, and the big question, is what's going to happen with the military force. There was some talk of creating a Hezbollah-style model in Gaza based on Hezbollah's actions in Lebanon. That's been rejected by Fatah. At the end of the day, I think this is one of the biggest sticking points. Hamas has diplomatically, but still, refused to disarm its military wing. That military wing would be, and is, under the control of Hamas. That could potentially pose a threat to Fatah, as it has in the past as well. So again, look at what's going on with that form of negotiations. Where did this come from? It originated with the financial disaster Hamas is facing in Gaza. First of all, basically by mismanagement. As we know, Hamas prefers to buy weapons rather than feed its own people. It prefers to dig tunnels rather than invest in infrastructure. At the end of the day, Hamas proved that it wasn't effective in actually running or state building. And in many ways, Fatah they're happy to give it over to Fatah to control. More than that, as you probably are aware, it was the pressure of the Palestinian Authority to cut ties with Gaza, to cut, for example, the electricity going to Gaza. That pressure, which was exerted on Israel to comply with, also had a price to pay. Today, many of the sanctions which Fatah encouraged Israel to put on the Gaza Strip, and at the same time it itself put on the Gaza Strip, are being lifted. So there's a financial incentive there at the same time as well. All amazing politics. You know, it always frustrates me whenever I speak at campuses. This idea of Israel good, Arabs bad, or Arabs bad, Israel good. If you really want to understand what's going on, we really have to get into both, obviously, the Israeli politics, but also Palestinian politics. And I think that sometimes when people talk about the Palestinians, especially people who empathize with the Palestinian cause, which I think many people do, I mean, there's the situation of the Palestinians has to be improved. They're somewhat patronizing and present them as just occupied. There's the occupier and the occupied. The reality is there's very real Palestinian politics going on at the same time. And that's part of the wider picture and a deeper understanding of the conflict itself. Keep out an eye. Oh, that wasn't English. But keep out an eye is definitely not English. Keep out an eye, you know. I'm starting to speak English like my kids. I've got to the stage, I've been here 30 years now, that I speak English badly, and my Hebrew has got to a level which is fine, but I still make mistakes. So I think anyone who moves to Israel has a disease of speaking two languages badly. Anyway, I'm wittering. Keep an eye out on a figure who's Dahlan. Dahlan is an interesting character, was expelled, has been living in the Arab Emirates. He's also a key figure because he was originally Fatah, is now moved very much to talk to Hamas. Again, his fate is also being discussed as we speak, literally, in Gaza at the moment. Perhaps finally, before we wrap up, keep an eye also on what's developing in the north. We mentioned this in my last podcast. As ISIS is getting weaker, Hezbollah is getting stronger. And if you look at the last few days, Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, has been making some bombastic statements against Israel. And that's perhaps a sign of his confidence that in the north, Hezbollah is growing. It's got the backing of the Iranians and the consent of the Russians. Anyway, I wanted to tape a very quick... did I just say the word tape? Oh my gosh, very 80s. I wanted to record digitally on my phone a podcast to really just throw out the latest of what's going on here in the Middle East. There is so much happening, and sometimes the stories are missed or hidden on the 9th page of a newspaper. If you're not, I very much encourage you to download my app, because that app And I know I talk about it a lot, but it really is very popular. The app, which just look up Neil Lazarus on any of the app stores, basically enables you to update or be updated of all the news in the Middle East very, very easily. And the best thing is, it's free. So that's very, very cool. You can also follow my Twitter feed at Awesome Seminars, or join me on Facebook at Neil Lazarus at Awesome Seminars. You can like the page there as well. I'll speak to you soon. Have a great, great day.